Yeah, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It's Untethered Live on a Friday night. I'm your host, Jake Johnson, and tonight we talk about the music business, the cost of a soul, and why Jake ain't famous. More specifically, the taste of fame. Come on in, take your shoes off. Tonight's episode is brought to you by this hot cup of coffee. Don't you want to have a nice hot cuppa and talk about the music business with me? If so, go to the kitchen, pour yourself a nice hot cup, and let's get after it. If you don't have a cup, you can get one in the description below. I recommend the first one. It's fantastic. Also, like, subscribe, share, support, join Super Chat. But tonight, if you wish to Super Chat me, I would appreciate it if you did it on the Cash App because I'm broke. So if you do that, I appreciate it. If you don't, that's fine too. All right, Jack is first in the chat. Hi, Jack. How are you? Amanda says, hi, chat. Good to see you all. Happy Friday. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Hi, Jake. How are you tonight? Heart and smiley faces. And Jack, here's your star for being first. Well, my weekend was exhausting. I finally got the motorcycle back up and running, but I spent all weekend working on it. I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning working on it last night. Well, 11 o'clock at night. Anyway, I quit by 4 o'clock. Anyway, it's going. I won. I made it. Brand new axle, brand new tire, brakes back in order, oil back in the primary, ready to go. It was a pain, but I got it. Mr. P's in the house. He says, I'm whooped. That makes two of us, Mr. P. Nobody showed up to help me move. That's terrible. Can't rely on anyone anymore. Niner. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. You know who your friends are when you got to move or when you need a ride at the airport. That's when you find out who loves you. And if I was around, I'd have showed up. Mr. P says, hi, gang. What's up, Mr. P? John in the house. Amanda says, hi, John. Damn, man, sorry to hear that. And you're right. You always find out who your true friends are when it's time to move. See, I told you. Somebody's been listening to me way too long. Hopefully you'll get it all done and can relax before you have to unpack. Well, if you're like me, you just won't unpack. There'll be boxes in your house for years unpacked. Or packed, rather. And by the way, I put a link in the chat. It's pinned at the top. That is my album. If you would like to have it, it's yours for free. Download it. Listen to it at your leisure. The only thing I ask is that you share it with somebody. Let somebody else hear it, too. That's it. That's all. It's yours. It's a good album. It's got one original song on it. It's got 8 great covers by my band. They're all me and my musicians playing, so it's fantastic. You'll love it. The credits are on the back of the J card to find out who did what. Kevin Cox in the house. What's up, bro? He says, hey, Amanda and Mr. P. And Amanda says, Kevu. My voice just don't want to go. Mr. P says, I'm fine. I didn't get to bring my larger couches, but I'll get the others. I got my recliner. And hey, at least I didn't get hurt. At least. Lord knows where I'd be if that happened. That's why I held off. Well, you really need some help to move the big stuff. But in the absence of help, let me allow you to, or allow me to offer some advice. If you can bend over and pick the couch up onto its corner, you can then walk it. If it's up tall, use its leverage against it. That way it's not heavy at all. Just walk it. It'll take time, but slowly inch it towards your destination and then turn around and drop it down on the platform and pick it up on the other end and push it in. And that'll make it doable. Can't pick it up, but you can pick up one side and then walk it. But pick it up pretty high so that it's up on its fulcrum and then it'll walk pretty easy. Maybe that'll help. I've moved some pretty big stuff before, so trust me. Amanda says, Kevin, the Peacock Man is in the house. Not the Peacock Man. Do you know the Peacock Man? The Peacock Man? The Peacock Man. I know the Peacock Man. The Peacock Man. The Peacock Man. Mr. P says, a few couches aren't worth injury. True. This is true. And hey, Kevin. And Amanda says, right, John? And be sure to like, subscribe, share, support, join, and super chat on Cash App tonight. Thank you very much. Mr. P says, the topics are written in the description of the video you clicked on to watch it. I'll read it to you since you just don't want to bother to look. It's the music business, the value of a soul, and the taste of fame. The man that says, LOL Squirrel. Linda Davis is in the house. My chat jumped, excuse me. Where are we at here? Patty's in the house. Hey, Patty. Peace. Amanda says, hi, Patty. And oh, yeah. Can you dig it? Yeah. All right. Yeah. Linda Davis says, hi, all in the chat. Hello, Linda Davis. How are you? Curious Squirrel? My dear. And hi, Jake, Amanda, John, Kevin, Patty, Linda. Big hugs. Says Curious Squirrel. Amanda says, hi, Linda. Clap or turkey or whatever you want to call that. And hi, Squirrel. And that's a squirrel. Patty says, hi, Squirrel. Amanda says, you go, Jake. I'm going. Hard as I can go. Jack said, I'm not going to answer that question, Jack. If you can't read the title, I can't help you. It's in the description. And by the way, anything, Jack. How did you know about the boxes, LOL? How did I know about the boxes? I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. P says, Jack, the topics are listed in the stream. Pay attention, son. Amanda says, no, Jake don't listen to you too much. I don't listen to you too much. You listen. Apparently, every time I say something, you write it in the chat like a minute later. Or you're writing it while I'm saying it, and then it shows up in the chat a minute later. Linda says, hi, Amanda, Kevin, Patty, Mr. P, Jack, Curious Squirrel, and of course, a Jake with the dragon shirt on. Dragon shirt number 2. The other one is a black shirt with red dragons, and this one is a red shirt with black dragons, and I like it. Mr. P says, music business, value of a soul, taste of fame. Durr. And Amanda says, LOL Squirrel. And Amanda says, hey, super chat on Cash App tonight, please. Cash App is $ Jake Johnson Band. Yes, please. I am broke. So if you're going to super chat, I'm not asking you to, but if you do it on Cash App if you don't mind. Tonight. You don't have to do that always, but I can't wait till the 22nd. Curious Squirrel says, how did you know about the boxes that never get the boxes that never get unpacked? Because I've done it. Yes. I'm lazy too. I still have boxes. I own this house, and I still have boxes that I haven't unpacked. There's a whole room full of them. Of course, I do live alone and hardly ever venture into the other part of the house, but that's beside the point. Amanda says, LOL Squirrel, Jake is slow tonight. I'm exhausted. I've been beating on that damn bike for 3 days. I finally got it fixed. My fingers are sore. I'm tired. And I cut my grass this weekend while working on the motorcycle. So that was a nice reprieve. April Rain's in the house. Hey, April, she says, hello, everybody. Good to see you. Much love with a big red heart. And Amanda says, nope. I say it before you do, LOL. That would lead you to think that you're the one that thought of it, and that isn't the case. So, Amanda says, hi, April. And Kevin Cox says, I don't have it here. Sorry. Da-da-da-da-da. Sports update. Kevin Cox says the Little League World Series is on ESPN. It is awesome. Teams from all over the world. Right now, Florida is beating Washington 5-1. Go Florida. Back to you, Bob. I'm sorry I don't have your graphic on this vertical stream. I need to get it over here. I just hadn't done it yet. It really don't fit right in vertical. Linda Davis says, I tried all day long to figure out how to get a new card to work on Google and PayPal today, but it still don't work. Amanda can help you with that, Linda. She has some experience messing with those people. Mr. P says, I had a few boxes that were still full from 3 years ago. So apparently we're all lazy and just won't unpack. I don't know what that's about. It just kind of is that way. Amanda says, dang, Linda, sorry. And Jack says, you're already famous. I'm already famous. I am. Already is one word. It has only one L in it. But I'm famous in my own mind. Jake Johnson, world famous in both counties. Come on now. I'm just a face on TV, that's all. But thank you for the compliment. And April says, hi, Amanda, Jake, and all of chat. How is everybody? I'm fantastic, April. How are you? That's what I want to know. How are you doing? Kevin says, we're with Mr. CJ tonight. He started school this week, 2nd grade. Is it time for school again already? Jesus. His teacher is, guess her last name. Winner wins $5. His teacher is Mrs. Winifred. Mrs. Johnson. Mrs. Carter. Mrs. Vasquez. I don't know. It ain't worth $5, man. Mr. P says, on the bright side, I found a whole bunch of stuff in those boxes. Ha ha ha. Isn't it funny how that works? I've got stuff I didn't even know I had. Amanda says, I didn't say all that. I just beat you to it. Mr. P says, Johnson or Jefferson? Fab Daddy, what's up, brother? He says, Miss Butt Cheeks. Butter Cheeks. Butter Cheeks. Ivana Humpalot. Is that her last name? Amanda says, hi, Fab Daddy. Fab Daddy says, happy Friday. April says, Fab Daddy, good to see you. Amanda says, yes, Linda, I can help if you'd like. So if you need help, Linda, ask Amanda and y'all can get together privately and she'll hook you up. She knows all about those crazy people and cards and getting them to work. Mr. P says, yeah. Already is the correct word. We all know what you mean, though. April says, I'm all right. I feel a headache coming on. Ugh. Goody powders. It works for me every time. Or morphine. Morphine helps. Amanda says, it's either Cox or Johnson. And Kevin says, you are right. It's Johnson. Well, she's from good stock then. She ought to be a good teacher, I hope. Miss Harris, says Fab Daddy. That would be Mrs. Harris. She is married. Don't tell Joe that, but... And I don't mean... maybe his name is Willie. Don't tell Willie that. Come on, I want to lay you. That is a Hawaiian mating dance. How you like that? Amanda says, well, on the bright side, if it's been in boxes that long, then you don't need it. LOL. I need everything I have. Amanda says, oh no, sorry, April. It's me, says, where's Waldo? He's right over there. Do you not see him? Kevin Cox hits me with a $49.99 super chat. I really wish you'd have hit that on Cash App, but thank you. Thank you very much, and I appreciate that so much. Mr. P says, headaches are the worst, those migraines. I'm glad I've only gotten a few migraines here and there. My goodness, they're terrible, though. Yep. Amanda's got a cure for that, too. It's called Imitrex. Try it. And there's another one called 𝕰𝕠𝕠𝕚𝕁. I don't know how you spell it, though. Amanda says, woohoo, Kevin, thanks, man. And yes, they are, John. And it's me says, hi, Amanda. Fab Daddy says, Willie or Nate. They sound the same, right? Mr. P says, message retracted. I can't read it if you retract it. 𝕰𝕠𝕠𝕚 once a month shot, says Amanda. There you go. That's how you know. Coming from a fellow migraine sufferer. I love that honeycomb in the background, by the way. It's very green, and I like the color green. It goes well with my complexion. My complexion. So, let's talk about the music business. The music business is not what you think it is. It is a racket from start to finish. The old days, we had this fantasy that you would go out and play, work really hard, and play as many places as you can, and then somebody, somewhere in some nebulous place would discover you, and you would be off to the races. Well, that doesn't happen. That hasn't happened in a very long time. That probably only happened at the very beginning of the music boom in the 60s, where an A&R guy, that's arts and renditions or artistry, I don't know what A&R stands for. It doesn't matter. The A&R guy, the guy that's in charge of finding talent. They don't go out to clubs anymore to look for talent. In fact, they turn most talent away. Because ultimately, it is not about whether or not you're good. There's a lot of good musicians that never make it anywhere. What matters is do you play the right game? Do you say the right words? Do you have the right political leanings? Do you have the right ideologies? Do you have the right image? Those things is what they look for. And they will test you. They will shit test you to find out if you got those things. They'll start out by compromising you. They'll say something like, your band is great, and I love what you do, but things are fixing to get really grueling. Do you think your lead guitar player can handle the road? And if he can't, would you be open to having another guy come in? Or he'll say something like, how about I fly you out to L.A., and then I'll provide a band for you there, and we can, these are seasoned musicians, they work in studios, and they can get the job done quickly. And he'll leave out the part that they're his guys, not yours. But if you'll compromise, then you're in. But if you won't compromise, what are we talking about here? If you don't compromise, they drop you like a bad habit. This is what happened to me. All right. I went down to Atlanta, Georgia, to play at a private writers convention and it was in front of 3 record labels. It was Epic, Curb, and Mercury Records. Curb and Mercury are the same company. They're just different divisions of the same company. And the guy from Curb Records wanted to sign me after I played. There was like 12 bands there. It was a private concert just for the record companies. And he offered to sign me conditionally. He wanted me. He didn't want my band because there was a guy that was a little too old and a guy that was really not as good as he could be. And a guy that had the wrong image, whatever the reasons were. He wanted to sign me, though. But I told him, I said, look, these guys have been with me for 10, 15 years. They are the sound that I'm trying to make. I don't want to have to train new people. Why can't my guys come? Well, we just think it would be better if we could mold you. And there's the thing. They wanted to change me into what they wanted me to be. They thought I had the talent to pull it off. But they wanted to mold my band around me and my image as well. And I, in probably naive fashion, said, well, let me sleep on it. And I was thinking, if I walked away from the table, because a good negotiator is willing to walk away from the deal, that's how you become a good negotiator. And in my thought process is I'll walk away from the table and they will come back and counteroffer me and I'll get a deal of some kind. Never heard from them again. So I lost my deal because of loyalty. This has happened twice, by the way, in my life. I have had 2 record contracts in front of me. And first of all, a record contract is not what you think it is. You get offered, the average record deal is $100,000, and it's a discovery contract, meaning that they will develop you. And if they come up with something that's sellable, then they will sell it. Otherwise, you're just on the back burners. So you get $100,000 and you go to work. But there's also the $1 million record deal, which is the one that people find desirable for some reason. But the problem with that is that's not your money. You get $1 million, yes, but now you have to buy equipment, and you have to buy transportation, you have to hire staff, you have to have instruments, you have to have lodging, you have to have travel, you have to have advertising, you have to have record company time, because you don't get the studio time for free. So when it's all said and done, if you split it 4 ways, if there's 4 people in the band, you get less than $20,000 out of that $1 million if you split it 4 ways. And that's not even McDonald's money. You can't live on $20,000. So you have to also pay that money back by way of sales. Right now they've got what's called a 360 deal, where they take everything you make, T-shirts, concerts, appearances, all of that. Before, they would recoup off of your record sales. So they had an interest to promote your record, and they would put it out and sell it so that they could recoup that $1 million from it, which meant you got nothing or very little from that album. I think it's like half a penny per 1,000 records or something like that. It's not even feasible. The only money you make as an artist is when you go out and tour. But now with the 360 deal, you don't even make that, because the record company gets all of it. And they have math that will blow your mind and lawyers to back it up. And by the time it's all said and done, you owe them about $1.25 million, time, interest, and all that. So you might have got that $1 million up front, but then you had to use it wisely. And if you didn't use it wisely, if you went out and bought cocaine and hookers, that money's gone. Guess what? You still owe it back, and it comes out of your record sales and everything else you do. Or they drop you in a year. They might put you in a studio, work you for 6 months, and play little local dives for 6 months, and then drop you. Say it just didn't work out. Because they can then write that off of their taxes and not lose any money. How about that? That's the record company. That's why I'm not famous. But I'll tell you what, I got pretty close. I was in the same place with famous people. My name was on the same sign as famous people, and I don't mean in little letters. I mean, I was on the same bill as famous people, not currently famous, but previously famous. Like what they call C-level celebrities. There's A-level, that's the people that are currently famous. There's B-level, that's people that were currently famous 10 years ago. And then there's C-level, which is everybody else. And so I was in with the C's. Not the D's, which are the ones that are washed up and nobody likes anymore. I was still drawing big crowds, but, you know. So, while I am not famous, I did get to pretend to be for a little while, about 4 years. And it was lovely. And I enjoyed it. But I learned something about being famous that I did not want to learn. And that is that it costs something. It costs your soul. And everything about being famous is angling for your soul. They want you to compromise. They want you to say things you don't mean. They want you to dress in a way that isn't genuine. They want you to sing songs that you don't believe in. Everything about it is compromising to you as a human being, which is why I'm not famous. I had my chance, and I backed away from it. I didn't blow it. I didn't fail. I chose to not pursue. That was a choice that I made. It was a well-thought-out choice because what I wanted to do from the very beginning was to play music that was in my soul and have people appreciate it. That's what I wanted. I don't care about fame. I don't care about money. I don't care about glory or power. I just wanted to make something that I felt and put it into the world and have you as a viewer or a listener appreciate it and like it. That's what I wanted. I wanted that relationship. And the closer I got to fame, the further away from that relationship I got. It got to the point where I was just performing, but it didn't mean anything. It didn't feel right. So I backed away. And here I am. On YouTube, a nobody. Slightly nobody. Quasi nobody. So there's the story. Curious Squirrel says, I was hoping you and any musicians here could confirm some of the things that Look Out for Charlie was talking about. I've seen many great musicians never move up that last step. Well, that last step is a big step, Curious Squirrel. And what she's talking about is a video by a character named Look Out for Charlie. That's the name of his channel. And he did a video about the music business, which he says pretty much what I've said. And he breaks it down into the numbers a little more than I would because I don't care to do all that. But it is correct. And getting to that point is a lifetime of work. It takes all of the skill you've got in 10,000 hours of hard practice and dedication to get to that level. And as soon as you get there, the next step is astronomical. It's 3 times as far as the first one you took, but it's in a different direction. And sometimes it's not worth it to your soul. There are people out there that will do anything to be famous. They want it. They crave it. They need it. They need to be validated. They need to be valuable. And those people they can work with because they will twist them and manipulate them and keep them high if they have to, whatever they got to do. Look at Jimi Hendrix and get what they want out of them. Amanda says, well, if you Cash App Jake, if you use Cash App, Jake gets it all right then. When you Super Chat, he gets 70-ish% a month, once a month. Right. And did I miss some stuff? I guess I did. All right, here we go. April says, Kevin, Cash App next time for future notice. Anything over $20. Yes, please. Complex or compilation? Yeah. Complexion. It's Me says, I play on 8 to 24 at the Mission at the coffee house. What are you talking about there? At the Mission at the coffee house. I play on 8. Are you saying you're playing in a band on 824? That's cool. Where is the mission? And where is the coffee house? What city? What town? What state? And what kind of music? And April says, but thanks for the super chat, sub, share, support, and much love. Yes, thank you very much. I do appreciate that. And as I said at the beginning, I am broke. So if you're going to super chat, do it on Cash App tonight if you would. And if not, that's fine. And Amanda says why. April says, thanks, Amanda, love. Kevin Cox says, let me sleep on it, baby, baby. Let me sleep on it. That is a song. Let me sleep on it. I think that's Meatloaf. Right? 2 out of 3 ain't bad or something. Amanda says, you're welcome, April. It's me says, I cut a single with Capitol Record Studios. We won a scholarship from a local radio station in 2004. Had 6 months radio play, Fridays and Sundays rotation. That's fantastic, it's me. So, you can confirm anything I've just said. Capitol Records is a great company to work for, but they want to twist you up. The thing is that the music industry, along with all media industries, are literally ran by Satan. It's true. I know it sounds creepy, but it's true. And so that means that everything that everybody does is going in that direction. There is no righteous way to play music. There is no good way to be famous. If you're famous, you're compromised. It's as simple as that. If you think I'm wrong, just go look at anybody who is currently famous and listen to them talk for more than 5 minutes, and you can feel the compromise pouring off of them. They are compromised. They are not genuine people. And that's something I refuse to give up, was my genuineness. I am me. That might not be great. That might be bad. It might be awesome. I don't know. But it's real. And that you can count on. If nothing else, I'm authentic. And I hope that matters to somebody. If not, I'll continue to be nobody. It's fine. I write good music. You might be interested in hearing some of it. There's an album up there in the link in the chat if you want to check it out. It's free. It's free because I'm not selling it. Know what I mean? It's me says, hi, April. And April says, hi, it's me. Good to see you. Heart and smiley face. Curious Squirrel says, and they write you off as a loss. Yes. And they write you off on their taxes. His Cash App is $ Jake Johnson Band. All lowercase letters, all one word. $ Jake Johnson Band. Linda, thank you. Kevin Cox says, buying cocaine and hookers is always a good investment, girl. Well, it is, unless you need that $1 million to make the next year happen and the album that you're currently working on be sold. And, you know, people hear about it. That $1 million is important. And it's about half as much as you actually need to achieve that goal. So you need to stretch it as thin as you possibly can and be very frugal if you get a $1 million record deal, because you got to pay that back. And Amanda says, $ Jake Johnson Band, Linda. All one word, no spaces, all lowercase letters, and with a $. It's that Crossroads contract says it's me. Yes, it is. There are those. And there are people that will tell you they sold their soul. And it's true, in a manner of speaking. Obviously, you can't sell your soul because it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to God. And when he's ready for it, he'll take it regardless of what you try to do with it. That being said, you can sell the essence of your soul by selling out and doing what the corporation wants you to do and becoming something other than what you actually are. Something other than the God-given talent that you were given. Curious Squirrel says, I'm glad you stayed with God and your friends. I hope so. I hope so, because in part, that's why I did it for you. I know I don't know you personally, but it was for you in general, you, the royal you. It was because I honestly believed when I was younger that I was special. I honestly believed that. This is not ego talking. This is objective, paying attention to the system. I thought I had something that was marketable. I thought it was good, and I thought people would gravitate towards it. That's what I believed. I'm getting old now, so that's kind of in the past. But at that time, that's what I thought. And I felt like it was my obligation to give that to you. God blessed me with that gift, so it's my obligation to use that gift. That's the way I felt. And I felt like if someone came in and tried to alter that and manipulate that to get something else out of you other than what you would freely give me, I was going to protect that at all cost, because that's not the deal I wanted to make. The deal is my talent for your appreciation. I'll give it to you if you'll give me the adoration for what I do. If you'll see me, that's what I want. That's what I'm after. I want you to see me. I want you to recognize what I am. And I'll give you everything I've got in exchange for that. But a third party cannot come in and manipulate that and make it something disingenuous, because then I'm ripping you off. And I'm doing it knowingly, and I can't abide by that. So I hope that you do appreciate that. Not for nothing, it ain't gonna pay the bills, but at least I can sleep at night. And Amanda says, we are glad you're here with us, Jake. So thank you. Thank you very much. Patty says, I watched musicians out of work during the shutdown that I thought found a new appreciation for an audience. Like myself. Well, I definitely, work definitely got scarce during the pandemic. This is true. But I never thought it would last as long as it did. Jake, let me know if it worked, okay? Yes, ma'am, it did. Thank you very much. God bless you. I appreciate that very much. Dana's in the house. Thank you, Linda. And Patty says, I watched McAnally and Gordon Lightfoot, and both were great during the shutdown. That's fantastic. Not many of us got a chance to perform during the shutdown. Dana says, wicked, parasitic, small gang of people controlling and profiting from talented people. Greetings. I am happy. I'm happy you're happy. I am not famous. Neither am I. For the profit of a few criminals and controllers. Right. Listen, that's exactly what it is. It's a business, and that business is very shady, very shyster-like, very conniving. They're going to get the good out of you. They will use you until you are used up and a husk of what you once were. And then they'll keep trying to extract more out of you until you die. And if you don't believe that, look at the string of musicians who have died while being musicians. Some have even taken their own life, and you wonder, why would Chris Cornell do a thing like that? He was famous. He was on top of the world. Maybe being on top of the world ain't what you think it is. Maybe it only looks that way from this side. Maybe if you go on that side, it's hell. Maybe it's that. And it is. It's only glamorous from your angle on that side of the microphone. On this side of the microphone, it's everything I have. It's everything that's in me every night, 100%, all out there. It's vulnerable. It's terrifying. It's empty. It's lonely at 2 o'clock in the morning in a quiet room after being at 11 for 4.5 hours, and nobody's there. And everything in you is buzzing, and you just have to be there, quiet, alone, sweating, exhausted. It's not glamorous. This is what I do. I've done it for all my life. And I can tell you that it never gets easier. And it never gets better. And it never pays off. Music is a fickle mistress. She is everything you need. She will string you along, but she will always let you down when you need her the most. And this is the truth. Amanda says, hi, Dana, hun. Smile, heart. Dana says, hi, Amanda. And hi, Dana. How are you? Good to see you. Welcome to the show. April says, hi, Dana and Patty and Curious Squirrel and John and everybody. Highs all the way around. Curious Squirrel says, hi, April. No headaches allowed. Right on. Get out of that head, you mean old headache. And Dana says, hi, April, heart. April says, Linda, good to see you, lovely. Smiley face, rose, hearts. It's me says, yes, I confirm it. It is a sham. It will drain you of everything that is good. And then everything else. You know that song, Hello, Darling? Hello, darling. Nice to see you. It's the biggest song Conway Twitty had. He didn't make a red penny off of that song. Not one penny. Not one penny. He made nothing off of the biggest song of his career. Think about that for a minute. Patty says, hi, April Rain. And April says, thanks, hon. It's easing some already. Well, looking at me makes your head feel good, not bad. Dana says, I like to use the word corrupt. It will corrupt you. And it is a corrupt business. Linda says, message retracted. I can't read it if you retracted it. Linda says, hi, April. And Amanda says, you're still good, Jake. We love you. We love listening to you. Well, thank you. And I appreciate that. And I love playing for you. And I'm really disheartened by this condition that I have at the moment. But I am working on it. And hopefully I will regain control of my voice at some point. But if I don't, so be it. C'est la vie. It's me says, when I commented our CD for sale, kept getting deleted 3 times on here the other night. Well, I'm sorry about that. It's me. Try again. Use codes or stretch it out or something. Or email me the link and I'll put it in the chat for you. You can email me at untetheredlivestream@gmail.com if you like. Amanda will put the link in the chat so you can email me. And I'll promote the hell out of you because I like promoting, but I want to hear it. Amanda says, dang, it's me. That was YouTube, I'm sure, and I'm sorry. And yes, YouTube does censor this chat for some reason. A lot. By the way, that little music foray that I did Wednesday night, 4 copyright claims from that night. I had to cut 4 things out of that video to keep making money on it. Curious Squirrel says, did you try to post a link? It's me. Only moderators can do that. And by the way, if you guys hadn't seen the new Untethered Live Facebook page, the link is in the chat. Go check it out. Get to know everybody. Share some stuff. Communicate. And keep up with all things Untethered Live Universe right there on Facebook.com/whatever it is. Link is right there. And there's also other links in the description for other things that we have, other pages, so go check those out too if you like. Curious Squirrel says, I thought the musicians still made their money from concerts. How did the 360 deal change that? Well, because the record company decided they weren't making enough money fast enough by record sales alone, and they noticed that bigger acts were selling lots and lots and lots of t-shirts and lots of concerts going on, and they were literally carrying trash bags full of money back to the rooms at night. Trash bags full. And they wanted their cut. So they revamped everything and wrote into the contract this 360 deal, which means they get a percentage, much like YouTube does with me, of everything you do. Whether it be t-shirt sales, whether it be appearances, whether it be radio interviews, anything you do that makes money, anything, they get a cut of it. And that cut gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And pretty soon, your cut gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And it's to the point now, they've done away with CDs. They've done away with records. They've done away with cassette tapes. Everything is streaming. Everything is Spotify deals. And artists can't make any money. They're going broke. They can't make any money. The only way we can make money is to set up our own tours and go out and tour. I don't have the energy to set up. I can't run the business and be the business. I'm creative. That's what I do. I need somebody to actually go out and do the booking so that I can focus on the entertaining part, because that takes everything I've got. That's what the record company's supposed to do, and they don't do it. And they'll put you on a shelf if you're not the big name or whatever. It's not good. So that 360 deal just about ruined the music business as far as I can see. And I would never sign that. Colin Hill, the Biddle. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. He says, hello, Jake. Amanda says, hi, Colin. And Patty says, I feel like I am watching that happen to Jelly Roll now. Probably so. And he's probably too enamored by the business and the flashiness and the girls and all of that to even see it happening. There was one band, it was mentioned in that video, the Look Out for Charlie video. I think it was Warrant, but I can't remember who it was. But anyway, they just sold 2 million records, and they thought they had a nice payday coming. And much to their surprise, having been sold 2 million records, that's going gold twice. That million records is a gold record. So that's double gold record. And they were in the hole $50,000. They didn't make anything off of that. And they tried to go to court over it because they thought they were entitled to a payday. No, they still owed the record company all that money that they were giving up front because they thought they were making it. You're not making it. There's no such thing. If you have a good song and people like it, you are making it. Now, how fast you're making it and how much you're making it, that's up to the people who share it and push it out there. An artist is a face. That's it. I am an idea that you cling on to if you're a fan. You like what I do. You like what I stand for. You project your feelings onto me. They may not even be my feelings. They may be yours. But that's what I'm here for, to be a outline of what you like. And then you consume what I create. And then that is the simpatico relationship. I get fed. You get entertainment. Everybody's happy. The record company, on the other hand, sticks their big nose in it, no pun intended, and they make everything complicated, and neither one of us end up getting the thing that we desire. Not really. We get manipulated because if the record company is going to promote me, I've got to have the right ideology. I got to lean in the right political direction. They got to know up front I'm not going to say anything that will embarrass them or do anything that will embarrass them. Or if things go down like the lockdowns, that I will capitulate like all the artists did during that time. Think about what punk rock is. Think about Green Day. They're against the establishment. That's what punk rock is, right? Biggest establishment people on the planet. They bought that shit hook, line, and sinker all the way through, and they're still doing it. Does that mean anything to you? Does that maybe make you think that what you thought those people stood for, maybe they don't stand for that? What you thought they were, maybe they're not? Maybe they're just a shill for a bigger corporation and you've been played. I don't want to be part of that relationship. I want to be a part of I want our relationship to be personal. I want to touch you and I want you to touch me, and I don't want anybody in the middle. Which is why I'm not famous. It's not a matter of talent. I'm every bit as good as anybody on the radio. You know it, and I know it, and you know it, so there it is. But yeah, I think Jelly Roll is probably going downhill right now. And a few others too. John Rich is another one, but he's making inruns to make his own musical career. So I appreciate that. Tom McDonald is another one who's making his own way without the record company. In essence, if he don't pull the ladder up behind him, he's paving the way for the rest of us to be able to do something like that in the future. Making it possible. He's a trailblazer for sure. I wish he would have been around in the 90s. Because if I'd have seen him doing that then and I had the wherewithal to know how to do the things that I know how to do now, I would have already been famous. But I'm not going to be famous. I'm pushing 50. It's not going to happen. That's somebody else's dream now. Now I'm just holding on to... This is the only thing I know how to do. So all I can do is hold on until I stop breathing. So that's what I'm doing. I'm literally not good at anything else. I'm good at this. Amanda says, I agree, Patty. He's going to hit rock bottom just trying to get to the top. Yep. Dana says, I am not marketable. I will never put myself on the market out of self-respect. That's wonderful. I unfortunately am not that person. I am a commodity. That's what I am. I'm not worth anything else. I'm worth a good time. I know it. That's what I am, so I market that. But I ain't worth anything else. I can't do normal. I can't do 9 to 5 or whatever it is people do in real life. I do this. It's what I'm good at. So I admire you for that, being not marketable, because I am a product. And so are all other people in my position and higher. They're a product. And the good ones, the smart ones, they know that. They're not pretending that they're something special. They understand that they are a item that's being sold. Not everybody gets that, though. Amanda says, right, Dana. And April says, Colin, good to see ya. April says, really? Really? Really, really? And Amanda says, here's Jake Johnson's email address if you'd like to have it. It's untetheredlivestream@gmail.com. No spaces. Thank you. Thank you very much. Colin says, we got to get a new motor for one of our trucks. It costs $5,500. No, they're not cheap, Colin. Amanda says, 8-ball. Oh, 8-ball. Is Jake the best? 8-ball says, back to you, Squatcho. Colin says, and we have an antique shop, which is 4K by January. Wow. I mean 3K. Wow. That's a lot. What do you know about 3K? How old are you? Curious Squirrel says, it's sad how greedy those companies are. When you see the really old bands playing again, maybe it's because they owe the company and can never retire. True. That is exactly what you're seeing. The reason David Allan Coe plays 250 shows a year at the age of like 87 or 88 years old, I don't know how old he is now or if he's in good shape now, but I knew him when he was 82, and he was still doing 250 shows a year plus at 82 because he's got bills to pay. He owes money. Back in the day, he was riding around in 2 semi-trucks, putting on shows comparable to what would be a rock concert now. Suffice it to say, even in the 70s, that cost a lot of money to do those sort of things. So no, there's no retirement plan. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but I don't get to retire. I don't have a 401k. I don't have a plan. I plan to die. That's the only option available. Or become famous. Man, April says, right on, thumbs up. It's Me says, we had $750 gigs He ended up selling 2,000 in shirts, and it was a cool logo. Awesome. $750, that's not bad for a night. How many people are in your band? And if you sold $2,000 worth of shirts, that's pretty good. Amanda says, 8-Ball, is Kevin crazy? 8-Ball says, perhaps. Curious Girl says, some bands start their own labels. I have my own label. Does that help? Not really. See, the thing about a label is they have all of the connections, they have all of the power, and they have all of the prestige, which means when they put a product out, the wheels get to rolling and things happen. I can release a song just like Epic Records can, and presumably, technically, a radio station would play it because I released the song. Problem is they don't know me from Adam's House Cat, and I don't have any money, so they don't even look at me or my song, and it doesn't get played. But technically, it's the same thing, right? So, yeah, I can release an album. But having the prestige matters, especially in this business. Having someone you can trust, or is it like other businesses of our time, radio, venues, etc., only deal with the big greedy companies? Well, that's how the big record labels work. Yeah, they don't cater to small businesses very much. In fact, they don't want. I'll give you a story. Waylon Jennings came out of the Chet Atkins world. Chet Atkins was running Nashville at the time, and they had what was called the Nashville Sound, which is the same thing Willie Nelson did when he first started. Go back and listen to those early records, and it's big band. It's, noodly guitars, real clean. Everybody's wearing a business suit, and they're clean cut. That was the Nashville Sound. That is not what Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings wanted to do, but that's the hand they were dealt. So they wouldn't let Waylon's band come in and record. They wanted to use all these studio musicians, which is playing on everything, by the way. All of the music you grew up listening to was the same two groups of people. All of it. Black music, white music, rock and roll, blues, all of it. Two groups of musicians, Muscle Shoals and the Wrecking Crew. Interesting. And all those sick bass lines was a little old lady named Kate. Think I'm wrong? Check it out. Anyway. I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, Waylon Jennings. So he wanted to put his face on the album, and he had a beard. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't let him. They wanted the standard 8x10, guy with a guitar, whatever. It's not what he wanted. He wanted his face on the album. And they said no. And so he went into a studio and hired the studio out, and he brought 4 guys in, 4 musicians, and they played the whole album and recorded it. And then they made the album, and he put his face on it. And then the record company had no choice but to release it because that's what they made, against the record company's deal. Now, what happened? That album was called The Outlaws, and it started a revolution in music, the outlaw movement in the 70s, right? Think about what happened after that. Hank Williams Jr., Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard, George Jones, David Allan Coe, Johnny Paycheck, all these guys came out of that idea. 4 guys playing music, not a big band, not a big slick production. Just 4 dudes making rock and roll, country, whatever it was at the time. That was against the record deal's permission because they wanted it done the way they wanted it done. Record companies do not make music. They make products. They don't have creative juices. They have business sense. And sometimes those two things don't meet very well. What actually people want, they're not getting. Why do you think all pop music sounds the same? Because it's easy, it's a formula, and they stick to it because it sells. However, there are some great musicians that are not getting heard. Jeff Healey was a great musician. Great music. He could barely do the old blues circuit. He was in there with Stevie Ray Vaughan, and they didn't have any place to put him either. He died, and so did Jeff Healey later, but had he not died, he would have failed because they didn't know where to put him, because there isn't a blues circuit. There's country and there's pop, and that's it, and rock and roll. So, if an artist, somebody who is authentic and original and unique, were to actually make it, it would make waves all over the music industry, and they do not want that. They want same old, same old. They want every artist to sound the same and look the same and act the same and, use the same studio musicians. I'll give you an example. Brent Mason is a guitar player, played on just about everybody's album in the 90s. Alan Jackson, George Strait. You go to IMDb and look up, or whatever it is, and look up Brent Mason, and you'll see all the names. There's like 30 names of major stars that he played the guitar on. So you might have even thought you were listening to a different band. So it's still Brent Mason. It sounds exactly the same. That's why all the 90s country sounded the same. They don't want original, unique ideas. Why can't we get a good movie anymore? They don't make good movies anymore. Well, that's because all the young people took over, and they don't have the gravitas to write good movies. What they don't want is a unique idea. They want tried and true. That's why they're making all the remakes instead of taking chances on something untried, untested, and hoping that they come out with something genius. You have to fail in order to come up with something genius, right? They don't want to fail. They want to make billion-dollar movies every time they make one. That's unsustainable, but that's the way the business works. And Curious Girl says, Green Day really did sell out. Yes, they did. In every way conceivable. They are not what they purport themselves to be. They pretend like they're anti-establishment, rogue, against the machine, punk rock. These guys are old men to start with, and they work for a company, and they are company men, and they toe the company line. They are not anti-establishment. It's just a cover. It's just a facade. That's all it is. Amanda says, you're famous for us, Jake. Oh, well, that's sweet. Thank you. I'll take it. Sorry, my chat jumped again. Curious Girl says, Tom McDonald is doing well, but this internet censorship thing could be what bites independent musicians. It will bite independent musicians, most definitely. The way it's going now, even having your own site may not be the answer. I know, which is terrible. It's terrible. There's nowhere to turn. That's why I'm thinking very seriously, and I joked about this before, but I'm actually thinking about it. I'm thinking about releasing my next album on a cassette tape and doing that from now on. And I will find some Chinese company to sell cassette players to go along with the album, because there's nothing wrong with that technology. We didn't need CDs. We certainly don't need streaming. I want to make a stand against all of that. So I'm thinking about releasing my album on cassette. What do you think about that as a statement? I like the way cassettes sound. They sounded great in the 80s. There's no harm in that. So what's wrong with that? It's dirt cheap because it's not the thing right now, so I'll be able to do it probably here at the house and do it for next to nothing. And I'll be able to sell the players to go along with it. Curious Squirrel says, hi, Colin. I hope things work out. And Linda Davis says, Walter and I went to see David Allen Coe. It was at a smaller venue in the Poconos. I used to be on the road with David Allen Coe. I don't know if you knew that or not. But I was on tour with him. And also Confederate Railroad, if you guys remember that. Trashy Women, all that. Curious Squirrel says, someone asked me about retirement last week, and I said dirt nap. I get by. But too many need immediate help now. So stashing for some future doesn't feel right. Exactly. Some future that you can't even guarantee. It's me says, weekly city events here pay $1,500. Where is here? It's me. I'll come play there. Because here, about $800 is what you can expect for a night. Patty says, the Swampers and Muscle Shoals. You got it. You got the Swampers and the Wrecking Crew. And those two groups played everything. I mean, James Brown, Aretha Franklin, Leonard Skinner, Kiss. They did it all. Curious Squirrel says, small venues are wonderful, Linda Davis, especially if you get to meet the artist. Yeah, they are. And I like smaller venues because they're more intimate. I have played on bigger stages where there's a big row of speakers between the audience and me, and then there's a space and then a barrier. So after the lights are in your eyes, you can't even see the people. You know, you might can see the first row, but that's about it. And I don't like that. I like it when they're touching my legs while I'm playing. I like them to be that close because I feel like I'm part of them then. I feel like we can communicate and I can sing to them. I appreciate that more, I think. It's me says, same studio musicians with Motown groups back in the day. Yep. April says, wow, the Tooth Fairy will be visiting CJ tonight. All right. He's starting to get his adult teeth, huh? That's cool, April. Way to go, CJ, says Amanda. Patty says, Tom Paul Glazier. He was one of the ones on the Outlaws album. And April says, thanks, Amanda. He's got it in a little yellow case, LOL. Aw, I still got my kid's teeth in a little case. Weird. It's a weird thing to collect, I know. But, you know, sentimental about that. I'd still have their shoes if I didn't lose them in a flood. I used to have every pair of shoes they ever wore out in a box. But we lost it in a flood. Amanda says, oh, so sweet, April. Curious Squirrel says, auto-tune makes everyone sound the same. It's horrible. That's why I don't use it. I never touch the stuff. What you hear is what you hear. That's what I am. I'm the same recorded as I am live. And I proved that on this album up here that you can download for free if you want it. There is a live song on that album, and the rest are studio recordings, but there is a live song on there, and that's what we sound like live. And it sounds every bit as good as the recorded stuff. Or as bad, depending on which way you like it. Linda says, April, do you keep his teeth? My kids think I'm insane because I still have their first tooth. I still have my kids' teeth. That's not insanity. That's a loving parent. Plus, I made it. I would like to keep it. Amanda says, right, Squirrel? Now they're using AI, too. Shaking my head. It's sad. Yep. There is no limit to what people will do to pretend to be famous or be good at something. But more and more every day, the people that are actually good at it are getting less and less and less. That's why I never went towards grunge back in the day, because it doesn't take any talent to play grunge. Those guys don't have to spend 15, 20 years learning how to play an instrument. They just get up there and fram a few chords that they learned over the summer, and then that's being made famous. That's not music. That's a cop-out, and it's gotten worse. Now they're using computers to do all the things that they can't do. If you ever heard some of those famous people sing in real life, you wouldn't believe they were famous. Amanda says, I did too, Linda. April says, yep, I keep them. It's a grandma thing, and I kept my kids' teeth too, LOL. And Mr. P says, ooh, I found my dad's Bible. Sweet. Now you can read your dad's Bible while we're doing Bible study. Patty says, movies are just awfully boring now. in my opinion. They are. They're not only boring, but they're poorly written, and they don't make a lot of sense. I think the golden era of movies is long gone. I don't think we're going to get those back. Amanda says, that's wonderful, John. And Amanda says, so is most music, Patty. Most music sucks, too. I don't even want to listen to new music. I don't have any desire to. Amanda keeps trying to get me to listen to these new artists, and I'm like, it ain't my thing. Well, how do you know? I know. It ain't my thing. And Amanda says, cassette. I think it's a good idea. Patty says, I still play cassette, buddy. Buddy and Frank Sinatra blast on it. All right. So it's not a bad idea then, is what you're saying. April says, I love that idea. I hated that they did away with the records and cassettes and 8-tracks. Ugh, everything has changed so much. I have a lot of records and cassettes. Still great. So it's not a bad idea. I think I'm going to do it that way. And then people can look at me like I'm crazy. But here's the thing. When you come to one of my concerts and you buy my album, you get to walk away with a thing in your hand that you can then open and look at and own. It's yours. Right? That's what I want. I want a thing in your hand that came from me, that I made for you. That's an exchange of something of intrinsic value. Whereas if you go download my album, technically you own it, but do you? What if your computer crashes? Then it's gone. What if somebody decides to copyright claim you because you have it? Then it's gone. If you buy my album, it's yours. You have it. You can look at it. You can see the art that's in it. You can see the words to the songs that I wrote, that sort of thing. I don't understand music today. I don't understand what people are into. I mean, what do they get out of it? Nothing. There's nothing there. Remember riding and listening to music? People don't do that anymore, I don't think. And if they do, it's... I don't get it. Maybe I'm old. Am I old? Is that what it is? I think I'm old. It's me, says Lincoln Park Mitch. Go. Lincoln Park, Michigan. That's what you're saying. That's where you're at. Okay. I'll have to come up that way. April says, exactly. Patty says, message retracted. Well, I can't read it if you retract it. Curious says, I still have cassettes and 8-tracks, LOL. I don't have any 8-tracks. I don't have any cassettes, actually. I don't have any music. I don't listen to music. I play music, but I don't listen to it. Weird. I know. I did, though, for a long time. April says, CJ has his tooth in his small toy treasure chest. It's adorable. Oh. That is adorable. Curious Girl says, you will need some good marketing ideas to make younger people think getting a cassette and a player is so cool they need to do it now. Well, that's just the thing, Curious Squirrel. I'm not so entirely sure that I care to market younger people. I don't think younger people would appreciate me. I think people my age and up is my audience. I think that's who I should be catering to. I don't mind having young people, but most of them don't even understand me. So maybe it will be just the fact that I'm going against the system by doing it that way, doing a retro album and standing on that principle that, look, you don't need streaming. You don't need CDs. We've done this for years and it worked just fine, and people got famous all the time by selling cassettes out of the trunk of their car. And there's no reason I can't do that now. Other than somebody in some nebulous place said, well, you need to stream now. It needs to be on iTunes now. But if it's on iTunes, you don't own anything when you buy it. You're giving money for it, yes. And you get to hear it, yes. But you don't own it. It's not yours. You can't put it in your car, carry it around in a case. I don't think that's a good way to do business. Maybe I'm stupid. I don't know. Maybe I can't see the forest for the trees. All those shoes are in your heart now, Jake. Maybe that's what the problem is. April says he didn't hear that part, LOL. Patty says, Jake from State Farm, are your clothes hideous? Not particularly. April says, LOL Patty. And Amanda says, LOL Patty. If he's wearing anything from the waist down, LOL. Yes, ladies, I am not wearing any pants. I'm not wearing any panties. Patty says, long, long gone, Jake. Movies are over. I think so, too. I really do. And I'm a movie fan. When I first started out, it was my mission in life to see everything that was ever filmed. And I put a big dent in it. I didn't get to all of them, but I saw a lot of them. I used to rent like 6 movies a night, every night. There just ain't nothing come out in the past 20 years that made me want to watch it. There's a couple things here and there, and they're good. I wouldn't call them spellbinding or great. You know, I saw RoboCop one time when I was 14 years old, and I can remember every scene in it right now. I can almost recite the movie to you. I can definitely tell you all the details about it. I saw it once when I was 14. I saw a Marvel movie yesterday, and I can't remember what it was about. How about that? They just don't make them like they used to. Amanda says, I used to love listening to a song and reading the lyrics off of the cover insert. I know, because you had a tangible thing that you could connect with spiritually. It wasn't some nebulous cloud being. You had it in your hand. You had a piece of that artist with you. And a lot of times they did the artwork that was on the back. So that was even another way to see their expression of art. They just don't do it like that anymore. People don't care anymore. There's no value in being an artist. I'm an artist, true and true. I create moods. I paint pictures with words and music. People don't do that anymore. That's a lost art. It may never come back. I may never find an outlet for it. I may have been born at the wrong time. I may be one of those that die miserable and alone and never achieve what I set out to do. That's fine with me. At least I know what I am, and I always have known what I am. Ask a young person if they know what they are. Patty says, I have all the books of the Bible on cassette from Shepherd's Chapel with Pastor Arnold Murray. That's very nice. Yeah, he did a good job. I don't agree with everything Arnold Murray says, but I think it's a great place to start. That's a very good beginner place to watch anything Arnold Murray. And I think that the things that he has wrong are obvious, and I think you can see it if you have any sense at all, because he come from a different school of thought than we do. He come from that Horton Prescott way of looking at things. Amanda says, long summer night drives with the radio blasting and the T-tops out. I've only had one car with T-tops and it leaked, so I didn't like T-tops. Mr. P says, I remember making mixtapes. I made a few for girls in school, and that was a love language all of its own back in the day. That's cute, April. His tooth. Yeah, mixtapes were a thing, and I remember making those too. The old mixtape. Remember recording off of the radio and trying to cut out the DJ talking, but get the whole song? That was an art. Dana says, Jake, you are not old. Is that you have a soul and a good taste for music. I myself can't stand the new stuff. I can't either. I don't like it at all. Amy Elizabeth's in the house. Hey, Amy. She says, hello. How are you, Amy? Good to see you. Here we are. I found it. Amanda says, when your device crashes, you've lost it pretty much. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If your computer crashes or if you lose your phone, you lost the music that you bought. You can't get it back unless you buy it again. It's ridiculous. I want you to have, if you collect my music, I want you to have a collection of my work. That's what I want. This YouTube thing, I've got, 8 years of videos? I've got over 1,000 videos here. If YouTube decides to kick me out, which they likely will, all that's gone. All my work, gone. They're not on DVD. It's over. So it's kind of a fool's errand to do this in the first place. So I hope all of you appreciate what I have invested in this spiritually, not just monetarily. Because it's just gone. YouTube has taken down like 5 of my videos and they're just gone. Why'd they take them down? Because I said something they disagreed with. In America. Land of the free and home of the slave. Something. Amanda says, hi, Amy. Mr. P says, hi, Amy. Rachel Floyd's in the house. Hey, Rachel. Hello. Amanda says, hi, Rachel. And Patty says, it's not music anymore. I have never even listened to a Taylor Swift song. Well, unfortunately, I've played a few of them, and they're not very good. Amanda says, naked. LOL. Partially naked. I wouldn't want to stand up right now, is all I'm saying. Think about that while you're watching me. While you're focused in on my mustache. Amy says, I like that shirt. It's a dragon. I have a dragon tattoo on my back. You go, girl. I knew you were spicy. I have 2 of these. One's a black one with red dragons, and the other one, I wore it Wednesday, and tonight I'm wearing the red one with black dragons. I like these shirts. Mr. P says, I sure hope you're not wearing panties, Jake. If you were, I'd be in the wrong dang place. That's for sure. Well, I'm not, so you're good. Amanda says, LOL, John. John says, hi, Rachel. Dana says, hi, Mr. P. Heart. April says, hi, Rachel. Good to see you, heart and flowers. Curious Squirrel says, your digital can disappear at any time, even if your device doesn't fail. I read that Amazon Kindle agreements years ago, and it said they could take items you had purchased back at any time. Yes, and they can put stuff on your phone that you didn't purchase. Like, that's one of the reasons I don't own an iPhone, is because back in the day, U2, the band U2, was pushing their album out, and everybody that got an iPhone, it was in their playlist, and you couldn't get rid of it. I don't even like U2, so why would I want it on my phone taking up space? But you couldn't delete it. It would come back. But if I put my music on there, they would remove it because it isn't Apple. You know what I mean? That's crazy. That's not ownership. That's rental. And I think the world has given up a lot of their freedom for that. Mr. P says, hi all. Dang, I haven't been paying attention to chat. Sorry. Hello. Curious Girl says, then what did you pay for? The rent they keep talking about now. I bet music is the same. It is. What did you pay for? You don't have anything tangible. All those movies that you rent on streaming, all those streaming services that you pay monthly for, you don't get anything for that. It's an end user agreement. You get to see it if they want you to see it. They get to choose the array of what you can see, and from that you get this false dichotomy, this choice of what they want you to see. You don't get to see what you want to see. And you have to pay for it. And it's not anything tangible. So you're throwing money to the wind. I'm old school, and I believe that when I give you a transactional action, I want to get something for my money. Amanda says, some of them album inserts were longer than your arm span. LOL. Yeah, fold outs. Yeah. And you might get surprises like Kiss or somebody. I might have been Kiss. Might have been, I think it was Kiss. They would wrap their albums in panties and send them out. I've seen albums that came with condoms. I've seen albums that came with pictures inserted and all manner of things. That's the record days. You don't get that anymore. But back in the day, they were very creative with selling records. I wish I'd have came up in that time. It was really cool. Rachel says, literally me, Jake. Broke, alone, ugly, rough life. You are not ugly, Rachel. What are you talking about? But yeah, I hear you. Me too. But you're not alone and you're not ugly. So, there's that. You have a community and they all love you. Rachel says, smiley, smiley, smiley. Mr. P says, hi, Dana, yellow heart. Amy says, I am what I am, and that's all that I am. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Woo, woo. I am what I am, and that's all that I am. I last to the finish, 'cause I eat scummy spinach. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Amanda says, oh, Rachel, you're not alone and you are not ugly. And Rachel says, oh, thanks, Amanda. Amanda says, LOL, Jake, just 'cause your rubber was bad. T-tops. Oh, you're talking about a car. Never mind. Rachel says, sex tapes too, right? Just kidding. Curious Girl says, the center of Woodstock. Hold on, my chat jumped again. The center of the Woodstock album is... Ooh, I have it. Is it dirty? Rachel says, kind of kidding. Amanda says, LOL, Rachel. And Amy says, transfer your videos to that other site I recommended. I'm working on it. They'll be there eventually. Amanda says, well, if you want them all on DVD, it could be arranged, Jake. Well, it could be. And I may do something like that in the future. But right now, I'm just trying to get by with what I got going on. And that's a lot to think about. So, in the future, I will consider making compilations for DVDs. I wouldn't want to put every episode on there because some of them, the quality isn't so good. And but I would like to put the gooder shows, the better shows on DVDs, like Hyperbole, stuff like that. Amanda says, I read that one. April says, ugh. April says, Amy, good to see you. Amanda says, rolling on the floor, Jake. What a mental image. Thanks. Patty says, they are doing that to everyone, Jake. I listen to other folks that worry about what YouTube thinks. Yeah. It ain't good. It ain't good at all. But they're doing it. And, you know, I have to be very careful as to what I say, and I still try to push the envelope and say what I think. But some topics I try to stay away from because I know they'll ban those thoughts, you know. And I'm trying to actually make a living with this thing, so I'm trying to not rock the boat. But there's only so much of that I can do because I'm an outspoken person and I speak the truth. I'm not going to be silenced like that. So they're probably going to take me out at some point. Especially around election time. Amanda says, me too, Patty. And Mr. P says, excuse me, y'all. I don't have internet at the moment. I'm running on data. So when I go to the basement, the chat stops advancing. I'll be back on the internet soon. Well, take your time, Mr. P. We'll be here for another few minutes anyway. Patty says, Audible is the same thing, right? There's really no place to go. I think Patreon is pretty good, but they were sued a while back for being censorous. So I don't know if they changed that. But Owen Benjamin actually had to sue them because they censored him. They took stuff down that they didn't have a right to take down. They promised him one thing and then delivered nothing, so he sued them and he won. It took a while, but he did win. But I think since then, Patreon's been pretty spot on. I hadn't heard very many people complaining about them getting involved and whatnot. And it may come down to something like jumping ship. I hope that I've built an audience enough that will follow me when I have to do that, because I hope they'll understand the reason I'm doing that is for their benefit and for freedom, for the sake of freedom. But until then, we're just going to have to keep going and hope we don't get eliminated. Do what you got to do, John, says Amanda. That's right. Patty says, no book in hand after I read it. Yeah, audible.com. I like the idea of digital books, but I like the idea of owning a book also. I like the idea of having a library of ancient books and things, knowledge, collected knowledge. I think you should have digital copies of books that you own in person. That's what I think. I wish it was that way. And Dana says, Mr. P, thumbs up and heart. Curious Squirrel says, it's all good, John. And Amanda says, stickers too. And some of the inserts were posters. True. Yeah, you could do that back when the albums days were. You could put a poster in there with them because they had enough real estate. You can't really do that with a cassette tape. But as it sits right now, records are kind of a novelty thing, and it's expensive because you have to press a physical object. You have to have machinery to do that. That's how you make a wax pressing. So right now, cutting a record wouldn't be a good idea for me because it's so expensive, and it's novelty, which means it's more expensive than cutting a CD. But I can do the cassette thing because I have the technology on hand to do it, and I know how. So might as well do it that way. Rachel says, need to finish watching To Catch a Predator. See y'all Sunday. Well, why you want to catch a predator? If you catch him, he can't be predacious. Sounds like a fun show. Linda says, hi, Amy. I have a dream catcher on my back. Tattoos are addicting. But I curb it because there's more things I need to spend money on, right? I have 2 tattoos myself. Nothing as elegant as a dream catcher or a dragon, but I have them. Amy says, Twisted Sister had that album cover that was a pop-up D. Schneider. Cool. Yeah, I miss those days. I wish that they still existed. Music was fun and exciting back then. It isn't really exciting anymore. There's not really anything new happening. I just wish there was. Oh, you can get my music on a thumb drive. You want a thumb drive? Here's a thumb drive. It's retarded. Yeah, I said it. Amanda says, night, Rachel. Mr. P says, I is what I is, and that's all that I is. Mr. P says, Rachel, you think you got it rough. Imagine being a stone cold fox and women chasing you everywhere you go. That's a day in the life of Jake. I mean, Mr. P. Amanda says, LOL, John. You go, boy. Curious Squirrel says, Amanda, Bachman Turner Overdrive had one with the inserts were paperboard and the actual album could cover folded out into a poster. Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, I wish that they still did that sort of thing. Amanda says, I'll definitely follow you, Jake. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. Curious Squirrel says, good night, Rachel. Amy says, the musty smell of an old paper-bound book. Yeah, you can't get that from an iReader, can you? You can get it to look like paper, but you can't get it to smell or feel like paper. Amanda says, yes, Squirrel, I remember a few of them. New Kids on the Block was popular for it back in the day, LOL. New Kids on the Block. Jesus. Youngin'. April says, much love, everybody. Good night, all, and God bless us all. Are you leaving us, April? I love you, sweetheart. Thank you for being here. Amy Elizabeth says, they're called vinyl now, not a record. I've only ever called them a record, so I'm aware they're made out of vinyl, but I prefer a record. You ever heard of a vinyl deal? Amanda says, right, Amy? Amy says, I like Oliver Anthony. Yeah. Too bad Oliver Anthony doesn't like Oliver Anthony. Curious Girl says, good night, April. And Amanda says, good night, April. And Amy says, rich man north of Richmond. And I want to go home. Linda Davis says, good night, April. Danny says, I love real books. I can't imagine myself to read a book on a computer. Well, it can be done. I've read lots and lots and lots of them on a computer. But I like books, too. Curious Squirrel says, I thought vinyl was something that made seat covers from. Also vinyl, yes. Different kind of vinyl. Amanda says, LOL Squirrel. All right. Y'all be sure and hit that like button. Subscribe, share, support, join, Super Chat. PayPal.me/JakeJohnsonBand. Cash App, $ Jake Johnson Band. Share this video with people. All that stuff. I'm tired. Okay. I missed it when it was time, so I'm doing it now. Alright, we'll do it live. Patty says, in my era, there was a new group every week in all genres. It was great for me because I love all kinds of music. Allman Brothers are my favorite. Good taste, Patty. Amy says, Jake says, I did it. I am at the end of chat. I did do it. I am here. Danny says, I'm old-fashioned. I'm old school. I'm not old-fashioned. I like new stuff, but I like old stuff better. In my opinion, if I could have my druthers, everything I owned would be old. Because I like craftsmanship. I like quality. And they just make things garbage nowadays. When I buy things, I look for quality. I don't want a plastic microphone. I want it to be made out of steel, you know. I'm looking for quality. They just don't make things with quality anymore. Linda says, good night all in chat. see you all here Sunday. Come on by. I'll be here tomorrow night, too, for some politics. Come on if you want to check us out on that. Curious Girl says, I don't think I could choose a favorite. There sure was a lot of good music in my day. Starting at about 1965, all the way through to 1985 is the golden era of music as far as I'm concerned. Patty says, quality. That's right. Amanda says, good night, Linda, and don't forget, we'll be here tomorrow night. But if not, we'll see you Sunday. Curious Girl says, I'm just old, Dana. LOL. Dana says, heart. I feel your pain, sister. Patty says, I agree. Amy says, things are made to break and be replaced nowadays, right? Curious Girl says, I was born in 64, so yep, my era of music, right? And Dana says, curious squirrel, smiley face. Yeah, I was born in 74, but I cut my teeth on stuff prior to that. So I grew up in the era of Guns N' Roses and Poison and all that. But I was listening to Merle Haggard and Kenny Rogers and things like that. So I've always been like 20 years behind where I'm at in time. And then I got to a point where I was listening to the top 10 every month and learning those songs. For about 10 years I did that. Every month I'd learn the top 10 country songs. And just went from there. So I've always had a taste for music in the old days. Amy says, Veterans Crisis Hotline, right? Patty says, old soul. I wish I was born at the same time Elvis and Johnny Cash and them were born, because I believe I'd be famous if I was born then. Because I'm definitely cut from the same cloth as all those guys. But I just was born too late. There you go. If there's a veteran in here and you're under crisis, call that hotline. 1-800-273-8255 or extension 988. And if you act now, you can get the second one for just half price. Amanda says, thanks, Amy. That's awesome. You got anything for old musicians that don't know what to do? Should he hang on to the old? Should he grab onto the new? Being an old hippie, trying not to rust, ain't trying to get away, just trying real hard to adjust. You got anything for that? Patty says, you are famous. I know you as the singer-songwriter of a great song, Elizabeth. Oh, that's so sweet. Just for you. Thank you, baby. Thank you very much.
Moonlit skies and fireworks. People laugh, people flirting all night long.
Take the song. See if you can sell it.
But I just stay. So I drove down to the local bar where people come in their fancy cars to play their games. But I just stay. Then I saw you sitting there all alone in that empty chair right next to you. I fell in love, oh baby. You looked down and you took my hand. You said, boy, I hope you understand that I'm not a girl that needs a man. this. I'd give you everything but just one kiss. And I don't care what you say, I fell in love with you anyway. Oh, Elizabeth, you take my breath away.
The next course of action is to make a music video and put it out. So that's what I'm doing now, working that up.
At that bar where we first met, you smiled at me and my palms got wet, and you just looked away. But I just stayed. You said, been in love and it never works, I always end up getting hurt, and I ain't doing that no more. There ain't no way. Oh no, 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 no. You stood up to say goodbye, grabbed your hand with a tear in my eye, and I just walked away. But you just stayed. But you looked down and you took my hand and said, boy, I hope you understand that I'm not a girl that needs a man. I got my life and all my plans, and if you were there, you'd just be in my way. Girl, it ain't gotta be like this. I'd give you everything but just one kiss, and I don't care what you say, I fell in love with you anyway. Oh, Elizabeth, you take my breath away.
There you go. Just for you, Patty. Yeah, you live in Tennessee. You know the people, the movers and shakers. Take that song and let some people hear it. Maybe they'll contact me and say, hey, we got this really young new artist that wants to cut that song and give you $1 million. That'd be nice. I got a new song I'm working on. It's going to be awesome. I think you'll like it. I just started working on it today. It's written by a friend of mine. Bravo, buddy. Yes, Patty, says Amanda. And Patty says, give it an 80s era look and bring back a good amount era. I could do that. I'd have to feather my hair, but I could do that. Or cut my hair and get my mullet. When do we get to hear it? The new song? As soon as I work it up. As soon as I can sing it. Right now I just started with it, so I've got the lyrics and I've got a rough idea how the music goes, but I need to put it all together and write all the other parts and get it all put down. We're working on it. Dana says, Jake, can you make a short video just with this song and you sitting the way just like now? Because I would definitely download and upload it to my channel. It would be lovely. I would be glad to. I would be glad to. I'll put that on the agenda for tomorrow. See if I can't get it done for you. Mr. P says, God bless all of my friends here. I'll see you all every chance I can. Start the new job managing the pizza shop tomorrow and Sunday nights 11 to 9. It will improve over time. Good night. Well, Mr. P, congratulations on the new job, and if there's anything we can do to aid you, let us know. And catch us when you can, and drop a message if you have to watch us during the day instead of being here live. Drop a message and let us know you were here. And we love you. Good luck. And congratulations, John, and good night, says Amanda. Mr. P says, will do, Jake. Thank you, sir. And God bless you all. All right. I'm going to go to bed now because I'm tired. I've had a long weekend working on that motorcycle, cutting grass, and I'm ready to go to bed. So Dana says, you will be famous in Prague, Czech Republic. That would be awesome. I would come to the Czech Republic and play. I would love that. Walter Davis, what's up, my brother? He says, good evening, everybody. Good to see you. And Curious Squirrel says, I could share a video of the song. The only social media I use won't let me upload music. That's rough. Well, I'm working on it. I'll get it done. And Walter says, good night, all. God bless you all. Well, you just got here. I can't leave now. You just walked in. Patty says, I had fun, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Patty. Melinda says, good night, Walter. Curious Squirrel says, good night, everybody. Much love and peace to you all. Be excellent to each other. And party on, dudes. Amanda says, me too, Patty. Good night. Walter says, hi, Linda. All right. It's been one of those nights. So I'm going to go to bed. Thank you all so much for everything you do. God bless you. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the Cash App. Appreciate you very much. I will work on that video and get it out as quickly as I can. It might come Monday or Tuesday or something like that. Might have to wait till my next day off to film it, but I'll have it all laid out tomorrow. Patty says, the Lord will place you where you need to be. And I believe that, Patty. I believe that's why I'm here right now. Amanda says, good night, all. See y'all tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Untethered Live for Politics. Curious Girl says, yep, that movie gave us a couple of great quotes. Sure did. All right. Thank you all for being here. God bless you all. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks for watching.